where I did a program this morning where we spoke about the issue of what is really going on ground, and that was about really trying to make people understand that. Do you know that they started putting some bricks on the floor in from Lagos to Port Harcourt with green, white, green flags on it along the coast? Were you aware of that? This this is something that was put across. Let me show you. I'll put the picture up on the screen so people can see it on Citizen AY. And I came across it with somebody sent it to Yomiko Iki, and I came across it and I started looking at it. And if you're looking, those of you who are on Citizen AY or on Dudua TV Radio, you will see it. It says it's a block painted in green, white, green, and they put it across all different parts of from across along the coastline from Lagos to Port Harcourt with green, white, green on it. Now that for me signifies that they are telling us, the indigenous people, that in this place, so our own ancestral names don't matter. What matters is Nigeria, and they are laying claim to our land. It's equivalent to them sticking the Portuguese flag into the soil of Congo. It's equivalent to the British raising their flag in 1899 and saying this is this is now British territory. It's the same thing, and many people are not. We're not responding. That one of the things that is really painful about is that our people don't respond or react and question things and go, right, this is wrong. That is a sign of them telling us that that land, as far as they're concerned, is Nigeria. They don't care about we, the indigenous people who own the land. As far as they're concerned, it's Nigeria belongs to Fulanis because they're the ones doing this. They're the ones putting that thing down. If you're looking on, I'll see if I can send you a picture of it so you will get what I'm saying. 1 second, let me try and see if I can send you a picture, my brother, because it is very important. When you see what I'm saying, one should be horrified that this can even go on. That anybody would come and be putting along the coastline, putting a flag down. That is a sign that we are enslaved in their eyes, and they've got names on it. They've got numbers on it. But let me see if I can get this to you. Can you hear me, my brother? Are you there? Good. Let me get that. Let me get this to you so you will see it on your picture. Maybe you can share with others as well. And this is something that is. I mean, there is so much that is being done that we should not accept. We simply should not accept it. So you will see that coming up to you now. Or you should be able to see it now. Hopefully, you should be able to see that coming up. Is it there? Can you see that in your inbox? In your WhatsApp message? If you can, if you have another device that you can use to check it. So okay, that's fine. So the reason I'm putting that up is simply for our people to understand the magnitude of the enslavement that we're currently under, and it doesn't take much to free ourselves. When these people are refusing to acknowledge that our ancestors own that land, they don't want to hear the name Biafra. They don't want to hear the name Yoruba Nation. They are insistent that it's one Nigeria, and they're not even prepared to look at the same people that are refusing to relook at that fraudulent constitution and go, right, okay, this constitution is a fraud. We can see that it's time to make a change. And instead, what they are doing is to impose themselves on us even more strongly in our land. And these are people who are not of our land. They come from Futajalon. So the idea in terms of talking about freedom, enslavement and freedom. Enslavement is when people who do not care, who do not care, who do not care about what we, the indigenous people, want, are imposing their will on us without asking for, without sort of seeking consent before they take action. For example, an action to the sign that we are slaves in that land is because 12 states decided to take on Sharia law without seeking the consent of the remaining southern states. They didn't seek our consent. And they imposed this on us, and now they're putting us towards a Sharia law. They're having meetings in Abuja whereby they're talking about Islam and Fulani discussions, to the exclusion of the people who are so-called the landowners. That is enslavement, and we have to break free. The only way to break free is to stop answering to a colonial name. Why is it that Catherine Aleng is the one going around in our country telling us how to solve our problems when they're the ones who actually created this problem for us? And why are we allowing them to come to give us solutions that are actually going to empower them and disempower us? That's the reality. Anytime you allow those who colonized you to come and offer solutions, it's not solutions. It's yet more ways to ensure that you remain bound and tied into that contraption. So we must continue, whatever it takes, all of us, Middle Beltans, Biafrans, Oduduwa people, to work assiduously, focused on achieving our the recognition for our independence, because we have our independence. We've been saying it loud and clear that we no longer want to be part of contract Nigeria, and our ancestors never gave any support to anything called Nigeria. It's a foreign name. It's an alien name. Nigeria is an alien name to a Biafran. Nigeria is an alien name to Middle Belter. Nigeria is an alien name to a Yoruba man. And these are the realities that we need to make our people wake up to. That constitution, again, is a fraud. We had no hand in it. And if they want to keep that constitution, it can only exist in the north. We had no part in that constitution. It was an imposition. There's no referendum, and they don't want to have any talk of the referendum. It is too late for that now. We've declared we are going to get recognition for our independence. That is our goal right now. I hope that makes things clear. So I've got the picture there. That picture speaks volumes. It is an attempt to recolonize us, and we need to reject it. In short. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. 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 There has never been a brotherhood. This has been an imposition from day one. There has never been a brotherhood. You know, our tongues differ, and that is clear enough that alone is it's clear indication that we are not one. We should never have been one. We should never have been, we should never have been in one nation. We should have been allowed to grow separately, and that is what will happen. Our ancestors, they named our land or your empire. They called it Yoruba name. They called it Benin and the Benin Kingdom. They called it, different names. Dahomey. Those were nations that existed before colonialism. Why is it that we have to stick to the colonial name? Why? Somebody needs to explain that to us. Why? So we reject it completely. We reject that wholeheartedly. It's funny because when you review the flag district, remember the whole part of that flag. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, did you just say, you see, you cannot show Nigerian flag and speak of truth and justice. It cannot exist in the same realm. They cannot exist in the same realm. No way. No way. Because it's a fraud. It is an utter fraud. That is the reality. And what I'm hearing now is I don't even know waiting to talk again. Waiting to talk, I don't know. I'm glad this discussion came up because Yeah.
And you don't know trying to convince you to know the president is an protester. All the crimes they committed on Biafra land during the war with the help of the Yorubas, unknowingly, unwillingly, unknowingly.
Yeah. Indeed. Indeed.
It is very, very regrettable that it happened. Now they are turning on the Odulu. Now they are turning on the middle belt.
Yeah.
And the same people they say, put together, you're treating Nigeria one. It's a task that must be done. What the hell?
What task? I didn't. My ancestors never signed up to it. I don't want it. No way. You're not speaking for me. No, you're not speaking for me. Oh, make that clear. You're not speaking for me at all. You know, it is not a task that must be done. The task that must be done now is to free our people from bondage, because it is in bondage that we are right now. We need to be very, very clear.
Yes. The task we have now is for the youth of we need to they need to come to a consensus as to what they have to do
Yeah.
to avert this catastrophe happening.
Yes.
Because you see the land of Duluwa, they are bringing more tanks and armored personal carriers. In Biafra land, the same thing is happening. In the middle belt, they have so much also almost overtaken that area. And you heard of them crying or you heard of them shouting.
Yes.
You know, you had, I don't know if you had the statement from Middle Belt.
Yeah, he talked about that. He said they should release Nnamdi Kanu. He's done nothing wrong.
Exactly.
He said that. He said they should be. He said he supports that, and that was I shared that. In fact, when I saw it, I was like, great. This is now a sitting governor. This is not something that somebody from somewhere else. This is a sitting governor from Benue State that is now armed his own people. And I want to take this opportunity to ask everybody from the middle belt to the south to go collectively in each of the states to the governors and demand from the governors that they do exactly what Governor Autumn has done to amend the vigilante bill and to community vigilante bill to allow the people to arm themselves, because every single day this federal government is arming the terrorists. The other day, I heard that there was the terrorists shot at a Nigerian army helicopter with powerful guns, and we cannot just stand there and be watching. I'm asking everybody, please take every step to protect yourself. Don't wait for anybody to defend yourself by any means necessary. If you're being attacked, don't go and attack anybody. That's not what we're saying. But you have the right to protect your life. If your life is being threatened, you need to defend that life. That is our inalienable right. Everybody has a right to life. Under Section 33 of that fraudulent constitution, it says you have a right to life, and by inference, that means you have a right to protect that life. So, when we talk about what Autumn said there was very, very true when he was raising the alarm, and it's raising the alarm on a regular basis now. And kudos to him. I have to give him that, even though he's still talking about one Nigeria, but he's now admitted. He said that what they're trying to do is to clear the indigenous people out, because he said that. I think it said that somewhere in that same video.
Yes, he said it.
Yeah.
He said they want the land from the indigenous people. And how can you surrender your land and then you become Nigeria? You don't know you are surrendering, just like Additional said.
Yeah.
And he said, surrender your land now, you go 6 feet under.
It's crazy. Utter craziness. It's crazy. It is insane. It is utter. Absolutely insane. We cannot relent. In terms of getting good afternoon, my brother. In terms of going on with this discussion and making our people aware, we have to keep reminding ourselves that when they tell you to pray for one Nigeria, they're asking you to pray for your continued enslavement. Yeah, somebody just said cut off the Fulanization. Yes, I agree. Somewhere on one of the platforms that are watching us. Good afternoon, Liberty, my brother, and we welcome your comments. So yeah, like I said, the Fulanis are trying to, they're enslaving us in our land, and it is up to us collectively to break free. We cannot continue to believe in one Nigeria. One Nigeria is a slave camp. It is a slave camp. And if they're telling you to believe on one Nigeria, it's indivisible and indissoluble. Who made it so? Who made it so? Who made it indivisible and indissoluble? Who? Who is that person? Is it a Yoruba man? Is it the Yoruba people? Is it Biafrans? Is it Middle Belt? So when somebody writes something somewhere, we have every right to question it. The basis for any viable nation can be traced through at least one of the minimum things: a referendum. Scotland is due to announce that they are going to go for self-determination. They're going to go for vote for independence sometime next year. So if they can do that, have they got two heads or something? Why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? That's the question I'm asking. If Scotland can do that, then tell me why we can't do that. Because I refuse to accept this nonsense. This is utter nonsense. And so we're yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. That is definitely, for her to be doing that, it shows that we have no freedom of speech or thought and expression. because she is trying to force the people to do their will, not the people's will, the will of those who colonized us. And I'm sure the flag that I show you that is in the picture right now is probably one of their own plans as well. Because guess what? They created Nigeria. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have a hand in this, because the colonial flag, if it's when it's stuck in the land, in their thinking, it is designed to violate our ancestral spirits and say they don't own the land. That's what it means. And that is the Fulanization agenda in a nutshell. It's a re-colonization. Excuse me, please. So yeah, I hope my people wake up. I hope we wake up. And this is worrying. It's a lie. It's a sham. Yeah. No. We're not. Yeah. 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 This is I don't know, earlier on I showed something, and it's very pertinent that you're raising this issue of the mind of the people. And there is one particular line in that document which I'm actually going to try and I will share it again for those who are. In fact, I got it on. Sometimes things are designed to happen like this to expose things. And I'm going to read a section of that document because it is clear as night and day what their plans are. Now it says here, you see, when you're going to take a country over, I've said it. One of the things you have to first do is if you can take the mind of the people over, then the country will fall into your hand like a plate, on a plate, and that's what they've done. So what they did was to take the mind of the people over using religion. Firstly, they defeat them, using bombs and things, and like they did in Benin Kingdom, 1897, bomb them to. I mean, that's the war crime that nobody has paid anything for, and there's so many war crimes committed in their violation of African land, but there's been no crimes, war crimes panel brought up on that, and that's something we need to look into. But here is something I want people to look at. In fact, let me get a better line. So the question when I talk about this now, the injection of colonists, i.e., the whitening of the quotidian, i.e., routine of Africans, to remove us of any form of autonomy to eat, to dress, to according to sleep, to say, to pray, to walk, to organize a house, European models. So what does that mean? In plain simple terms, is that they removed our autonomy. We get up as Africans and we decide, okay, today, right, we want to. Some people will be protecting our kingdom. Some people will be going to get some food for the people. Some people will be going to go to the farm. Some people will go and go and go and praise and give thanks to our deities. They stopped all of that. And they start giving us routines. Now, one of the routines they gave us is Christianity. To do that every day, since 1880. And it has become second nature to us. That it has now, we've completely lost, many of us have lost our connection with our ancestors. So now when they tell us, when they now come, the same people who have been doing this, they now come and send one of them in and say, okay, you do this. And everybody jumps. Everybody's jumping. But we forget that 1884 Berlin Conference. And it's happening it's not just UK alone. Congo, the same. All of the French countries, the same. It's the same thing that is being faced in all the places. The only difference is they are speaking different language. But it's the same principle. So these are the things that we have to collectively confront to make our people understand that you don't think that because you are in Ghana or you are in Burkina Faso, or you are in Mali, or you are in Guinea, that the problems you face are not the same, because these people, what they've done is to ensure that we remain enslaved. Our resources is the basis for their economic policy. Our resources, combined African resources, is what's being used to keep the whole of the European economy going. Many of the resources they take from this place without paying a penny for. And what allows that to happen is, that is why I say it. When it comes this thing of to do with those two religions, we have to make sure that we educate our people so they can make informed choices. Right now, people believe that they freely made a choice to be Christians. You didn't. You haven't freely made a choice to be Christian or Muslim. They've given you those two options to make sure that you take one or the other. That is not having a free will. That's an imposition. And that's what people need to understand. And they're using that now, say, okay, now you've got that. Now you have to pray that works within whatever nation you are. And that's the same goes for both Nigeria, both Togo, both all of these countries. That's what's happening in there. There's no difference. It's the same technique. And the reality is that we working together to bring about the dismantling of that within Africa. I'm not talking about Europe. Europe can do whatever they want to do, and American, but we must. Is the awakening of our youth. I'm telling you now, the way things are now, the kids that are born now, they are already born into enslavement in their mind. They are already mentally enslaved. And that's the reality. People don't like to hear this because the kind of food, the thought process, and everything is influenced by the environment. And who creates the environment? Those who created those nations. And it's time we dismantle it. The only way to free us is when we go back to what our ancestors created. The nations that were there, and there is no doubt, when they were creating the Berlin Conference, the nations that were there were nations of our ancestors. They knew that we had nations, but they broke them apart to be able to dominate and control till today. So it starts in our mind. It really does start in our minds collectively. There is a lot of work for us all to do. This kind of information that I'm sharing, and we want more people to do more research and be willing to share this research with as many Africans as possible so that we wake up. We wake up. Let me read you one line of something there's also something I'm showing you now. Africa is like a table of meat, and it's being carved up. There's a picture people will see on the screen. Chancellor Bismarck or whatever, Bismarck, the German Chancellor Bismarck, is there carving it, and all the other Europeans are there waiting for their cut. So the English, the French, the Germans, the Dutch, all of them, they are all there on the table. But there is something I want people to read about what was done in terms of, and we need to remember this. This I give credit to. There's a guy called Dr. Chidozie Okoro. I don't know if you're aware, if you know his name. Dr. Chidozie Okoro. He exposed this this letter from King Leopold that was uncovered by a late what's his name again? There was a Congolese man. He went to buy a Bible, and he went to buy from a Belgian who was in Congo at the time. But the Belgian forgot to take out that secret letter. Now, in that secret letter, I want to re-emphasize this one. It says one of the things that you need to understand is that they know that we have our own gods and that we have a connection to God. But to be able to dominate and control us and be able to make us not know who we are and know what is in our land, they started using that evangelism to promote themselves instead of that religion. They put themselves as our gods. In every part of Africa, that's what they did. So here is an example of what the guy did. Let me just read something to you. He said here, let me read it to you now. Your role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrials, which means you will go to interpret the gospel in the way it will be best to protect your interest in that part of the world. Meaning they will protect the interest of Belgians in Congo. For these things, you have to watch on disinteresting our savages. They even in our own land, they are calling us savages from the richness that is plenty in their underground. To avoid that, they get interested in it. They don't even want us to get interested. That's why they tell you to pray and look upwards to the sky. This I'm giving you. These are word for word what was written by King Leopold to the missionaries in 1883. This was written to the missionaries, and no doubt if Belgium did that, do you think the other countries wouldn't do the same? They would do the same thing. And these are the kind of words they did. So they said they didn't want us to be interested in our own resources, because if we got interested, we will say that we will start competing with them and we'll take them off our land. That's what they said. Now they started getting us to think, and these are the things I want you to understand now. When you're reading this in the Bible, in the Bible that it is, they say, happy are the poor because they will inherit the heavens. It's difficult for the rich to enter the kingdom of heaven, of God. You have to detach them and make them disrespect everything which gives courage to affront us. So they are telling us to dwell and revel in being poverty stricken in the land of rich when they can take it away from us. And that is what is still happening till today. So a lot of work needs to be done to with our mind to wake us up. And this is not about putting down a religion. I'm telling you that it's being used as a tool to connect, to dominate and colonize us and oppress us till date. That's the reality. I mean, thank heavens this letter came out. But for that, people will be, if I said it, they say, oh, no, don't say that. It's not the case. It says here, you must singularly insist on their total submission and obedience and avoid developing the spirit in schools. Teach the students to read and not to reason. Oh my goodness. As I even read this,
Psychological domination.
completely.
I steer you to this direction because when we talk about our youth, I want our youth to know where the problem is. It's not how flashy you are. It's not how fluent you are with German, English, Russian, whatever language you've chosen to learn how to speak. It is your ability to know your surrounding, what's holding you back, and you correct it. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
It is my way.
Yeah.
There was the Brussels Million match.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see how they were looking at us?
Of course.
Who are these people? Where are they from?
Yes.
But every European country, they know exactly who they are, where they come from.
They do. They do.
You know? But in our own case, each time we come out, they look at us as people that are not of any value. And I want our people to understand that. I want our people to know exactly what we are fighting. And the only way we can assail, the only way we can overcome,
Yeah.
is by making the rules.
Indeed.
That divide and rule mentality they have instilled in us. A Yoruba man coming out to hit Igbo man for
Yeah.
no reason.
Yeah.
Igbo man coming to hit a Yoruba man for no reason.
Yoruba
They
me.
have been earmarked for annihilation, and the only way is to psychologically divide and bury us.
Yeah.
And that is where they get stuck. And that is where people like you and I came up and will make sure that our people be used
Yeah.
in that slave mentality
Yeah.
and the powerful they are.
Let me even buttress what you are saying there now. You see, because it relates to what our job is to wake them up. It even talks about to evangelize the N word. Evangelize the N word. You know what the N word is, right? So that they can stay forever in submission to white colonialists. So they never revolt against the restraints they are undergoing. So So the work that you and I and others are doing now is critical, because now there is no doubt that when somebody is telling you to evangelize, to ask us to submit to this kind of brainwashing, to keep us on our knees in our own land, the only option we have now is to wake our people up, come what may, whatever that takes. We do. I'm saying this wholeheartedly, because it is so crushing. When I read that letter, I was like, this needs to be explained to our people, and I've done like a PowerPoint thing, which I'm showing to people now. And I'm going to show that again and again and again, because when these churches, they are nothing but businesses. They're nothing but businesses. That is it. If you are going to, because the way they designed it, and what is really sickening, the sickening thing about what is happening here is that those people now, they've now got it so perfected that even some of us now, they handpick those who are going to be the church men who will carry on that so-called evangelizing to enslave their own people. And that is where we stand. That is where we are now.
You brought up an issue.
Yes.
they have the Anglican,
Yes.
they have the Baptist,
Yes.
they have the Seventh-day Adventists,
Yes.
they have the Anglicans,
Yes.
they have the Roman Catholic.
Yes.
Do you know the extent of divide and rule that in Biafra land? Do you know that they ensure that you said you brought Christianity to Biafra land and you are telling me because you are a Roman Catholic, you're not going to marry somebody from Anglican?
Yeah. It was to
And
keep. It was.
yeah.
It's about to keep everything divided. To never have a unity. To never that and oh man. Yeah. I just want our people.
People should learn from it.
Yeah. That's the.
And then people started questioning the reasoning for that. Because you're praying to the same God. You're a Christian. Roman Catholic is Christian. And you're telling a Christian should not marry a Christian because the name is different. And our people bought it.
Yep.
Bought that doctrine blindly.
Yeah.
That should be the essence of our people acting without thinking, without questioning.
But that's what they wanted. He said so. He said, let me go back to that line again. You must singularly insist that on their total submission and obedience, and avoid developing the spirit in the schools. Teach students to read and not to reason. It's there. That's what they did. That's what we're doing. We're responding to what they taught us. They taught us not to reason. So when some, oh, you cannot marry that one. Oh, they said that because the book said so, because the pastor said so, because. And that has kept us divided. So yes. Look, I say this because people need to understand that part of our problem, until we identify and make sure that our people understand that what you call religion is nothing more than a routine. Let me say that again slowly. What you call a religion, particularly in Africa, is nothing more than a routine. A routine that does not allow you to use your brain, but only to follow what they wrote down for you. Oh, when there's a problem, just go back to that same text. Don't reason, just follow it. Don't reason, just follow it. It's a routine. That's not religion. That's not spiritualism or anything. It is not a form of way to enrich your soul. It's to entrap you, to weaken you, to keep you on your knees. So this is very important for all people to understand. And if you're on your knees, you cannot fight enslavement. You can never fight enslavement. And if you can't fight enslavement, you can't be free. So you see, there is a connection with what we are saying when we come and talk about this. We are bringing this to you so to understand the foundations of the enslavement. If you can break apart the foundation of the enslavement, then you are more likely to join us in the struggle to ensure that our freedom is permanent forever. Because then for your coming generations, we will all be raised with the right knowledge and banish these lies that they put to enslave our mind forever. Banish it. So there's a lot of work for us to do there. I know there are steps, and it might sound like when we're talking about this, people might think we're just going into subjects, and you might not think it's relevant, but it is very, very relevant, because the same people who colonized you gave you the same religion, and they expect you to believe that they made you to believe that the only way to salvation is through what they gave you to enslave you. You will never be free.
That's you have any other issue you brought up with you?
Yes. 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 Please, I want our people to understand something. The other day, there's a lot of killings going on across the South. And I want to again urge us all. I've seen videos of killings in the East, killings in the South, and in the West. That they're going into villages and literally killing people. And one of the things that is shocking, in Lagos, for example, they shot a boy, a bus conductor. Not shot. They knifed a bus conductor to death in front of the police. The police said they arrested them. But we know that if it's Fulani, he will be released. Our people, we cannot just be talking and saying they shot this one. I saw people, pictures of people being hacked with cutlasses and God knows what else, and they escaped. Some people were killed. You know, what we are saying is now is the time for us for collective action to save our lives. Community action plan against terrorism. Form a plan. Your life is worth everything. If you can work in your community to protect yourself within those communities, that is the best way to guarantee the future for your coming generations. Our safety and security cannot be put in the hands of the police or the army. The army is full of terrorists. The government has pardoned terrorists, put them into the army, into your villages, into your towns. So it is up to you within your community to come together for, and build a system, a network system to provide safety and security that will allow you to be able to go to your farms and feed yourself and grow your own food. Stop eating cow meat. Please, stop. Just stop eating cow meat, because that is how they get into your community and watch you and come and kill you in your bed. Please wake up. So that's what I wanted to say for now. I'll stop there for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Citizen Away. Thank you very much. Let's open the phone line.
Yeah.
+1-484-767-0848. +1-484-767-0848. Live broadcast from Radio Biafra USA.
My brother, I just want just one thing. That phone line, try and make sure it gets close to the mic so I can hear it, because sometimes it sounds very, very distant, and I'm not, so I struggle to hear the words when they're speaking. So they need to speak very clearly, and that phone has to be close to the mic so we can hear them, and others are listening. People have complained that they cannot hear that. It sounds like they're underwater. So let's just try, and if you can, I mean, I hope, yeah. Thank you. +1-484-767-0848. 0848. So please do call in. We will expect your call. And if you have a comment or two, and so suggestions and questions, we'll try and answer it, both of us, between you and me and Mazi, and Alozue, we can come up with some kind of give you some answers, or go back and come back with an answer later on if we don't have immediate answers right there. Yeah.
People, they are not used to being enlightened.
Yeah.
Because they are used to a certain way of life that is not good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And since this is the way they are used to, it's just like trying to convince somebody that this is not your father. Person you've been living with all your life that raised you and you're coming to say, this is not my father. That is the kind of issue we are dealing with.
Yeah.
We have to notify our people. We have to explain to them what we are passing through. And the only medium through which we can reach them.
Yeah.
This is the medium through which we can tell them the truth.
Indeed.
And that is why we have this combination. So that we understand what we are doing.
Yeah. Indeed. Please, I want my Biafran brothers, Middle Belt brothers, and Oduduwa brothers. This is a task that all of us have to join hands in achieving. We cannot achieve the self-determination individually on our own, but collectively, I maintain it. No force on earth can stop us. No force on earth. When we collectively work towards this goal for independence for Middle Belt, independence recognition of our independence for Middle Belt, recognition of our independence for Biafra, recognition of our independence for Oduduwa. When we work towards that collectively together, resolutely, no force on this planet, no guns, nothing can stop us, because it's our people that we need to awaken. It's the people. It's the minds of our people that we need to get this message to. It needs to get to the minds of our people so they can take the action they need to take to free themselves. We need to, it's about self-emancipation. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy. 'cause none of it can stop other time. How long must they kill our prophet? Whilst we stand aside and look, whoa. Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing? This song of freedom is all I ever hear. Oh yeah, redemption song, redemption song is all I ever hear. Oh yeah, redemption song. We have to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. It is not a job for one person. We have to do this collectively. So please do call in if you have a question, if you have suggestions, if you have an idea. And we, all of us are important in this struggle. Each and every one of us, without leaving anybody else behind. Each and every one of us, we are very, very important in this struggle. So please do call in. Let's hear from you. If you want, or leave a comment if you want to. Let's hear from you. So, my brother, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. All good. Thank you.
Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Ẹ ṣeun. Ẹ ṣeun. Àmì. Mo dúpẹ́. Ẹ ṣeun. Thank you. Thank you. Ẹ ǹlẹ́, ẹ ṣeun. Ẹ ṣeun. Mo kí yín. Ẹ ṣeun. Welcome. Ẹ ṣe. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Indeed. Yeah. It's true. Yes. 50 million. Yes. Yeah. Hmm. Yes. Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm. You see? Yeah. Hmm. Wow. Ndoka. Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mhm. Exactly. Yes, indeed. Mm. Mhm. Indeed. Yeah. Mm. Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. It's true. It's true. Oh, network. Okay. Is it calling? Was it calling from Nigeria?
From Europe.
Oh, okay. 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 Sorry.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yes. Mm. No, I would just like to say, I very much, I agree with many of the things that you said, and we know this stuff, and I want us all to really. That's one of the things that they've made us believe, that we are not spiritual, that we do not know anything, that we are not connected to God and anything. We are perhaps one of the most connected people to the earth and to the Most High than any other people in this planet, literally, because that is what we grew up with. We grow up in, in the teachings of our own ancestors about, if you do good and, if you do bad, we are taught all of these things from every single home. But what they have done now is to bastardize everything about our culture, everything about what we've learned. So now it is our role, it's our responsibility now to begin to rebuild our ancestral belief system, and make it stronger, and make us proud of who be, and instill pride in us, because the lack of pride in us means that we try and go for everything that they put in front of us, because that's what they've designed us to do, but by the teachings that we've gone through. So there is a lot of work for us to do in getting our freedom. This freedom is not just about freedom away from continental Nigeria alone. It is also our mind, our body, and be ready to do the work in terms of for our soil, our ancestral land, to work for it, to bring it to true greatness collectively. And that is the work that needs to be done. But obviously, the first thing is ensure that the recognition for Biafra, recognition for Oduduwa, recognition for Middle Belt, and Amazonia. Those are the steps that we need to take right now. And all hands must be on deck. The best way to guarantee that, of course, is to ensure that our communities are safe. So we provide, we make sure that this bloodletting, this genocide that's going on, that we begin to protect ourselves. And many people have been, you see, another problem that we face in this struggle is that we've been so made to feel defenseless that we cannot do anything without the calling on their God to help us. So whilst we are calling on their God to help us, you see that we're not getting the help. So we need to now instill in ourselves that the only people that can save us is ourselves first. We pray to our deities, our ancestors, and then we can achieve everything we need to achieve collectively. Because that is the problem. When people feel helpless, they will willingly accept death without fighting. When people accept that they are helpless, and that nobody else can help them other than looking to something that, praying to something that will never come, they will die waiting. And that's what's happening to many of us. People will be, instead of protecting themselves, they say, oh, they've killed this one again, oh, Jesus, they killed that one, oh, killed. How about coming together? That's why I'm talking about we shouldn't be panicking now. Now it's about working collectively in our community to protect our lives. Our farmers are the most important people in this struggle right now. Because if you can protect the farmers, that means we can feed our communities. Once you can feed the communities, that means that you can begin to now, do the other things that you need to do. So it's really important that we understand that the church, even that, you heard Adeboye said yesterday. Adeboye was saying, you have to defend yourself. And then he said, you have every right to defend yourself. And then they said, oh, you shouldn't say that. They said, oh, I didn't say that. I'm just saying that you should protect themselves. I didn't say you should carry AK-47. As far as I'm concerned, by any means necessary, you need to protect your life. I'm not saying go and attack anybody before anybody starts quoting me. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if somebody's coming for your life, you have every right to use everything within your hands to protect yourself. And that is important for us to realize. Everybody, once you know that you are doing that, you can, and it's actually it's a survival tool. Once you know that you protect your life, that means that you know that you can fend for yourself. You can go out and make sure that life exists by creating food, ensuring that the farmers are protected. That means that you start thinking about your community. That is very important, because right now everybody has been made to believe that there's only one person that can help, and that's the God that they're praying to that's never coming down. The community is what we need to survive right now. In Middle Belt, in West, and in Middle Belt, Southwest, and Southeast, we need our communities to work together to provide safety, collective safety right now. That is the most important task right now. Because when you provide safety, guess what? That is your proof of sovereignty. Where you can provide safety for your community, that is proof of sovereignty. And that is what cements the goal of self-determination, the goal of recognition for our nation. So that's very, very important. Yes. Yes, we can hear you, yes. 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 Yes, sir. Yes. 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 Mm-hmm. Yes. It is. Yes. 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 Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. 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 Mm. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Hmm. Wow. Mm. Eshem, Eshem, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes. The contention there is for fathers.
Yes.
Then why in the world since I've been thinking about this, they know we have our own God.
Yes.
They know we have our own way of praying.
Yes.
And they want us to teach ours.
Complete abandon it totally, without even question.
And then we demonize it too.
Yes.
So when you mention your own God, we say, my God, why are you calling that is forbidden? Forbidden by who?
Exactly. Exactly. This is the real reality, and we need to wake up to that. That our gods are just as valid as anybody else's, and we need to stop allowing anybody to demonize what is part of us. It is part of us. It's part of our psyche.
Hola, your name and where you coming from? That's fine, thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon. No going back. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. 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 Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think
Citizen,
yes, go ahead.
go ahead. You
No,
finish your
I think that's unfortunately. I mean, sadly, that's what that they don't realize that if they do this, what they're doing, the people it's coming close now that the people will have to take, action to continue to defend their lives en masse, and we know we have the numbers. To be honest with you, we have the numbers. And that's why the quicker we come into our communities, when we stand in our community, then we will know we have the numbers. And that's why I'm trying to encourage us to do that. We begin to have community discussions, community plan right now, because that way it will tell us how strong we are, how the numbers that we have, because they don't want us. They want us to be standing on a one by one so they can pick us off. But if we stand together, they have no chance, and they know it.
we'll get back to that. Let's get this caller
Yes.
Get back to that.
Yes.
Call out your name and where you calling from. Welcome. Thank you so much. My beloved brother, I greet you. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you, my brother. Thank you.
I greet you, my beloved brothers and sisters. You will carry on my
Yes.
My name is Soko, and I am calling from the blessed land of Biafra. Therefore, please, I want to say this. Our God will strengthen you continuously.
Amen.
And let me say this. If there is other people like you from our neighboring village,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
let them come out.
Yes.
People should imitate IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra. We are not giving up. This is exactly what they should call Nigeria is.
Yes.
Nigeria doesn't need people that will backlight. When they see threatening, they will go back.
Mm.
They need people that have a stagnant spirit.
Mm.
People that demand for their rights continuously. And that is the reason why we must continue to glorify people when it comes to our leader, Mazi Kano.
Mm.
A man that he used his word to encourage a lot of people, to make a lot of people to learn. And today, he produced a lot of firm and, let me say, constant people when it comes to the struggle. Yes, there are so many of us that backlight. Started from 2015 till this time around, there are so many conflicts in our midst. They have gone away. But I want to say, the ones you are seeing today, more especially the leaders for IPOB, like Mazi, that when the people are saying all manner of, I told them that Chief has been in this struggle for a long time. That there are some people that we don't even need to suspect them.
No.
We don't even need to do anything against the protest people that never be paid because we know what we need.
Yeah.
So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that we need people like you more from your side.
Yes.
Come out and join you so that we continue to hold hands together
Yes.
to fight the evil ones in the zoo.
Yeah.
The reason why people are suffering today is because the zoo called Nigeria.
Mm.
They don't like the truth. When
No.
you say the truth, they will come against you.
Exactly.
They will make sure that they will terminate you. But when it comes to the indigenous of Biafra, IPOB, and the leadership of IPOB, they can boldly say it to the ear of everybody that these people are their problem. Doesn't mean that we are giving them problem for giving them problem sake. That is what we are doing is the right thing. We refuse to give up. That is my point.
Mm.
We refuse to give up. I don't can never give up. But
No.
the right thing must to be done. Must.
Yes.
So I'm using this opportunity to thank you and thank Mazi Alozue and the rest of our people that is firm. We must continue. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Mazi.
Thank you.
Mazi, thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're in this together and we must continue in this struggle. We need to, yes. Yeah. Grateful. Thank you. Oh, another call.
Your name and where you calling from. Caller, your name and where you calling from. Caller, you go ahead. We're waiting for you.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear you.
We can hear you. We hear you.
We are hearing
We're hearing you. We didn't hear you. We didn't hear you.
Something is wrong with this connection.
Yeah.
Caller, your name and where you calling from. Welcome. Welcome. Go ahead. Good morning, Mr. Iwoy. And good morning to my brothers and sisters. I salute everybody. Mazi, we want to say,
He said.
to your prayers this morning and socially. And what we need now is a self-test.
Yes.
This is a constitutional right everywhere in any part of the country. So, Fulani terrorists in military uniforms killed our brothers at Okwa. and the time of manifestation is open.
Yeah.
We cannot continue to weep and cry. If you can recall for those of us that school in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember in primary school days and also in secondary school days, those ones that allow themselves to be bullied, you will notice that people continue to beat them every day. Because they cry, they moan, they run, and all of that, and people enjoyed doing it. So, you see, people like this, they enjoy putting us.
Yeah.
And the time of lamentation is over. Get something to defend yourself. We cannot allow these Christians to come into our land and continue to kill us and then.
Oh, network.
Because your life is at stake, is invicted. So you protect yourself better and then after the fact, go to court and explain why you did. So the reason why I'm calling this morning is to encourage everybody. I thank all of our brothers and sisters for all of our efforts. This is no going back. We've really calculated a number of steps. So we have to take just one step backwards now because we are very close to finishing it. So my point this morning is defend yourself, no more crime. This is a time of action. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very, very powerful message. Something that many, we hope that many will key into. It's all about defense. Right now, we need to defend ourselves. Our communities, we need to, you cannot be doing it on our own. You cannot, again, I ask anybody that's got Fulani as your guard, please get rid of them. Wherever you are now, in Biafra land, Yoruba land, get rid of them. You are being surveilled, you're being surveilled, and they are passing information to make, about your community and yourself. Make sure that you do not have them as your people protecting you, because they are the ones who then will stick to the people who are killing us every day, and they will pass information out and make your community vulnerable. So I'm asking all of us now to be at alert. There are things we need to do within the community. For example, we need to make sure, for example, we do not don't eat cow meat. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? So is it on? Hello? How about now? Hello? Wow. Hello? 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 I don't know what's happened. 1 second. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, please, I'm sorry about that. What I want also to be very, very aware of is this. We have to make sure that our communities, we protect ourselves collectively in our community. Every single area of that community, we need to have young and old having regular discussions, meetings, and plans as to how to defend ourselves. So designate people who are going to be the one doing the defending. Designate your lookout. Designate planning around it. Your farmers are very important. How are you going to put plans to put in place that your farmers can go to and from the farm safely, because that's your food source. Please also, we urge you, if you were possible, eat your local meat. Don't buy cow meat. If you have your own chicken, if you have your own goat, if you have your own bush meat, eat that. Don't buy cow meat, because those cow meat, they're using it to survey you. When they come into your area, they're not just selling you cow, they're checking what is where and everything else. You need to put a stop to all of that now. Protect yourself in your community. Build plans. Very important. Sorry, go ahead.
No problem. Call your name and where you calling from. Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead. Yeah, my name is Chukwuemeka.
Good afternoon, Maria.
I'm speaking from my location.
Okay. Network. I can't hear you now. Can you? It's gone off. Hello, it's. Can you hear? Mazi, can you hear him? Because I can't hear him at all. Mazi, it's very, very low. Maybe you can recant what he said. Hmm. Yeah, it's sad. I can hardly hear it. I like his discussion, but I can't hear him properly.
Mazi, can you maybe? Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, we can hear now. Yeah, we can hear him now, yes.
Okay. What I'm saying is Ottawa, the only governor in Nigeria. The answer is no.
Of course.
Ottawa have been escaping assassination from the Fulani terrorists each time. And they are people. They are clearly a people. And the other governors from the south are quiet.
Mm.
Can you see why the black race is painful to say?
Hmm.
They are the problem of themselves. They are more interested of their pocket than their people.
Mm.
Every country of the whole world, their politicians are serving their people. But in Nigeria, it's a different ballgame. What is the senators doing in Abuja by now in the name of senators? What is the House of Representatives in the South doing in Abuja by now? They are in the name of representatives. These people, if they understand the meaning of what they are in a position to come together and say, no, this is not how to do it. Our people are dealing there is. Our people are dealing. We cannot control like this. If you close your mouth and tell what you feel like government, finish killing your people, they will kill you. That mouth you have, which you cannot use to speak, you may have the time to speak, and that time may be too late. They'll cover your head. They don't care.
Mm.
The problem we have is bad politicians.
Yep.
And that is why the whole money they are stealing in Nigeria as senators, House of Representatives, no country of the world, none of them, even their president, they are not earning such money.
Hmm.
And they believe in money than one being. And that is Nigeria for me.
Yeah.
It's a very bad situation.
No.
That is the very short problem of Nigeria in particular. Is a thing that nobody knows how to eat. In their mind, they feel they are doing good thing for themselves. They don't know they are killing themselves by the end of everything. Because everything about politics is when you come together, you speak together. Whenever you say we stand, you see, this thing we call federal character. Because the Southerners are enemy of themselves. That's why they give Fulani chance to take every head of federal level. If not, before, every apartment in the federal level is a different people managing it. It's not done in so that if anything is going on, another ethnic group in another sector will defend that place. But because of wickedness of black race, because of wickedness of Nigeria, the Fulani use fear and lose all of them, put fear in them, and take everything. This is amazing. Today, they are here collecting money, leaving their people into slave. It's illegal to be a black man. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Mazi.
Thank you. All right, Raphael. I don't think you need to be to feel a pity to be a black man. I think we need to be very, very clear about something. You need to separate the condition from the man. If you pity black man, then you're doing what the colonials want you to do, to make us feel helpless. The colonials want us to believe that we can never help ourselves. And we have to start showing that we can help ourselves, we can work together. There are some who are doing things that we're not happy with. And I think it's better to say that way in my point of view. And yes, the ones who happen to be the ones that have been handpicked to go into those positions of power and maintain our own oppression. That is self-hate right there. So we need to really just be very, very careful about it, because the coming generation, we need to imbibe them with strength, confidence, belief in who they are as Africans. For so long, Africa has been put as a race that has no future. But look at our past. Our past as great kingdoms points to the direction of great kingdoms of the future. What needs to happen now is that we collectively begin to work at it. And we are privileged in many ways to be from Biafra, from Alozue, from Middle Belt, to be the ones who are going to put the footprint down for the coming generation to build that kingdom that is going to arise and be adored around the world because of the efforts that we're putting in now. So please don't despair about black people. There are some who are bad, like there are some Europeans who are bad. Some are good, but it's important that for ourselves, for our psyche, we need to break free from the cage they put us in. They put us in a cage whereby they've taken our minds over, and it's time to free ourselves. We have to emancipate ourselves. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Your name and where you calling from? Yes, welcome. Thank you, sir. My dear brother, A1, working here in Cabo.
Ẹ ṣeun gan, mo dúpẹ́ ẹ káàsán mo kẹ́yìn náà ẹ ṣeun mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín. Ó pẹ́ ọjọ́ kan pẹ̀lú ẹ ṣeun mo dúpẹ́ gan ni mo dúpẹ́ gan ni, thank you, ọjọ́ kan pẹ̀lú, thank you my brother. Ẹ ṣeun. Yes, mo kí ẹ ṣeun mo dúpẹ́. Ẹ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Ṣé ń dá lóhùn ni? Cherry, ẹ jẹ́ kí n fún yín ní ìbéèrè yẹn. Ṣé mo lè sọ ní, can I speak it in English so I want a wider audience as well? Is that okay? Màá sọ. Okay, thank you. So now, you see, one of the reasons you need to understand that the entire structure. If you're a politician, you are eating from this pot. If you're if you're a Christian, prophet or pastor, you are eating from that pot. If you're a Muslim, imam, you are eating from that pot. It's like Fela said, Fela talked about it, all of these people, in spiritual avenues, most of them go, they call Allah, Kuba, So it's the same set of people. So I'm not surprised when he says, "Oh no, you can defend yourself, but not with AK-47." So the question we need to be asking is, why is he not telling the government to stop giving AK-47 to the terrorists? Because the federal government are the ones funding the terrorists. They are the ones recruiting them into the army. They are the ones. So the people and the federal government has been taking away the Dane guns of the people. So he needs to, obviously he cannot speak truth to power because he's, only to and he don't chop, he don't chop clean mouth, if he talk. Because you see, then they go tell and say, but maybe now we give you the money. Which is, I then go come out, go talk better talk now, quick before we deal with you. So what they don't, they don't carry out, they don't catch out for a blockhouse. If you talk anyhow, then he goes see anyhow. he goes see anyhow. Will I follow? So the reason why he's doing what he's saying now is because he's trying to be cagey. Because he cannot fully talk because he's not free. And that demonstrates the fact that he had to come and make several statements to free about, this is what I didn't say that, I didn't mean this, I didn't mean, it's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. So, but for me, we need to know that by their actions we shall know them. He should be standing with his people and saying, my people, my people, here is where we are. This is what's happening. It's wrong. Defend yourself. You should say it by any means necessary. He should be the one saying it. But of course he can't because he's part of them and he's still talking to them. So that's why he cannot fully talk because he collects from them. They come and give him some sort of money. I'm sure of it.
You read my mind. It's something I thought because this one cannot say turn yourself. I said without AK-47. I like it turn yourself. You do it wrong. Somebody talk with God. I said defend yourself. Which means? For which means they're going to defend themselves? You see, I don't know. They have eaten from the pot.
Yes. Enough to talk. He can't talk freely. He can't. He can't talk freely. Yeah. Yes. Mm. A very good question. One of the things we heard him say, and we don't know, he said, "Toba no mi made pada lole," which means if they beat me, I will go back home. Now, that saying is a double-edged sword for me. It means that if he gets beaten, he will come back home. But he's not just coming back home. He's going to come and join the struggle. I think that's what he's saying. But I'm not prepared to wait around. I don't think we should be waiting around for what he does. He is not going to win. And INEC is controlled by the Fulanis. Mahmoud Yakub is a Fulani man. Atiku for PDP is a Fulani man. So guess who? Two guesses. I'll give you two guesses. Who is going to be the next president of Nigeria? It's going to be Atiku. However many votes Obedient gets, Peter Obi gets, however many votes Emilokon gets, however many votes they get, I'm telling you now, you can take it to the bank from me. The man that they will announce to win that election is going to be none other than Atiku. You can just see, this is a game. They played us for so long. We should be able to read this game and just go. That should be enough reason for us to go on our own. They are playing a game. That is how I see it. So this talk about I am some sort of, yeah, I will win. You cannot win. If you are, you had Kwakwanso say it this morning. He said, Kwakwanso said this morning, he said, no, a Southeasterner cannot win the election on this. They haven't got the numbers, he said. How, so you, and so are you telling me that the Fulanis have the numbers? The Fulanis that are bringing in 10 million people from all over Africa, from Mali, from Gambia, from everywhere, from Ivory Coast, from Niger, from Chad, to come in to make the numbers, and you're telling us that you have the numbers? So this, it doesn't, look, we need to be, let's wake up. And I'm telling the supporters of Peter Obi now, look, you will win in the election. You'll have the numbers. But the announcement will be telling you that it is Atiku who won. That is what you need to understand. So that is a game that they're playing. So we need to not stop. We need to not even focus on that. That is why we should focus on going for self-determination right now. So Emilio Kon talking about, if I will win. You cannot win. Peter Obi will never win. Emilio Kon will never win. Never. Yes. Tó ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ ṣeun. Ó ti dojú ẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Ẹ ṣeun ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ sọ sìn, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín tẹ́ máa sọ Yorùbá. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ a fi àsìkò yìí o, a fi rọ gbogbo àwa ọmọ káàrọ̀-ò-jíire o. Ẹ ti gbọ́ nǹkan tí àwọn ìbéèrè tán bí wá ń sìn. Wọ́n ní pé báwo la ṣe múra sílẹ̀ tó sí fún ọ̀rọ̀ ogun tí àwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n wá gbé tiwa yìí, ṣàtìmúra rẹ̀ pé ó ti dé gidi gan báyìí o. Ìbéèrè tàbí ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ wa nìyẹn. Àwọn kan mo ń bá àwọn kan sọ̀rọ̀, wọ́n ti múra lẹ̀, àwọn kan ti gbáradì ní nípòrọ́, àmọ́ púpọ̀ sì ní iṣẹ́ láti ṣe. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bára wa sòótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀. Tó bẹ́ẹ̀ la ṣe ń tẹnu mọ́ pé gbogbo ìdílé báyìí o, gbogbo àdúgbò, gbogbo ìgbèríko, gbogbo abúlé, gbogbo àdúgbò, títì, ìpínlẹ̀, ẹ ṣètò láàrin ara yín, kẹ́ kóra yín papọ̀, ẹ parapọ̀, ẹ ṣe ètò ìdáàbòbò tó múnádóko ní agbègbè yín báyìí. Torí arábí wọn ti wọlé sí wa lára tán, ẹ má jẹ́ ká tanra wa. Ẹ má kàn dé máa wò tó máa fọwọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan nù wa kí gbogbo wa jáde tí wọ́n lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà. Tàwa kàn dákẹ́ tàwa ń wò, kó má kàn mí o, kó má kàn mí mákan lóye ń kọ́ o. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ káàrọ̀-ò-jíire, torí ni mo sọ sìn yẹn, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbáradì. Ọ̀rọ̀ ti kọjá pé ó ń bọ̀, ó ti dé. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbáradì, ẹ jẹ́ ká parapọ̀, ká pèsè ètò ìdáàbòbò tó múnádóko ládùúgbò wa. Màá rọ gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe ìgbésẹ̀ yẹn báyìí. Ẹ ṣeun. So yeah, I've tried to answer that question. I hope that answers your question a little bit. So I've tried to. Some people are prepared, but quite a lot are not prepared. They don't fully understand what is going on, and I'm telling them, please, you need to go and create community action plan against terrorism within each and every community to protect yourself, to come in and out of homes. People are being stopped and attacked, and nobody's doing anything because we are all afraid. But if we stand as a community, we will be unstoppable. So we need that unity now. There are some within the community doing it, but we need much more. And that's what I can definitely tell you. Thank you very much, my brother, Eshongwani. Does that answer your question? Hello? Are you there? Hello? Okay. So, I think we'll probably take one more call and then we can wrap it up because I need to, or we can, any more calls coming in or are you okay for now?
You're okay for now. We do it again next week.
Okay.
Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, you can start that risk.
Yes. Yes. Listen. Thank you. I want to thank you, Mazi Alozue, for having me on the show. We'll be back again next week. We will talk some more. I'm hoping that all of us will take something away from every discussion that we've been having on this platform, because we are here to try and enlighten ourselves. I am learning all the time from everybody that speaks and comes and talk to us, and we want it to be interactive. And I'm hoping that again I'll ask my Yoruba brothers, please, if you do want to call in, maybe I'll organize it. I can call in on the same number or call in on my number as well, so we can actually make it more engaging as well. But I want to thank you all again, and I thank my Biafran brothers. We are in this struggle together. All hail Biafra. We are again calling for unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He must be released. and no, there is no justification for holding him. Also, likewise, we are calling on the government to pay the 20 billion naira they're supposed to pay to Oloye Sonebo. They must pay it because they went into his house illegally. They must pay that money, no ifs, no buts. But the longer they don't pay it, the more we know that Nigeria is a fraud, and we have even yet more reason to break it up. So I want to thank you all. Thank you, Mazi and Alozue. Thank you for having me. We'll be in touch later on. Thank you so much. Yeah, in there, thank you. Thank you. Bye, bye for now. Bye. 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 In there, bye. 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 So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the broadcast for now. We're going to end the broadcast here. These are things that I want you to, before we go, and I want to thank Mazi Alozue for having me. We'll be having the show once a week, same time, 3 p.m. to maybe 5, 3 to an hour minimum, 3 to 4, maybe to 5, thereabouts. So we'll be having that show on a regular basis. But I want you to leave you with this thought. Evangelize. When you talk about Christianity, I want you to have this word in your mind. Evangelize the N word, so that they stay forever in submission to white colonialists. So they never revolt against restraints that they are undergoing. So they are conditioning us to not revolt against our own oppression in our own land. That is what the Bible and the Quran is about, whether you like it or not. It's in black and white. I've read it to you there. Have a think about what that means to you, and how that, particularly on the African continent, that is what has been done to us. It's time we woke up. We must wake up collectively. So, I greet everybody for listening. Hopefully, we'll organize whereby we want people to call in from Yoruba Nation, Yoruba people to call in on the program on Monday as well, between the same time, to join in this discussion, so we can have an interactive community discussion. So I'll be promoting that for the next broadcast. But for now, I want to thank you all so much for joining us. It's Citizen AY here. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín, a tún máa padà wá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Mo bá alàgbà Mazi Alozue, àwọn ará wa ní ilẹ̀ Biafra Igbo, mo bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀. A lè dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn fún àsìkò tó fún wa. A lè dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n béèrè béèrè. Mo lè dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n tó ń sọ Yorùbá, láti wọ́n bí wá ní béèrè ní Yorùbá. Mo gbìyànjú láti dá wọn lóhùn ní Yorùbá, mo lè sọ lédè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì náà. Akibu Wale Kosi. Once again, I want to thank you all for joining us. This is Citizen AY on Rapture Radio, and of course on Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. We'll be back later on to give you more updates. Thanks for now, and goodbye. Please don't forget, this is the words that you want to see. When they talk about evangelize, they evangelize for us to submit to our own oppression and not to revolt against it. The time has come for us to psychologically wake up from that slumber. We've been asleep for so long. It's time we woke up. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Bye for now.